Four big stories to break down today. We discuss the latest updates surrounding MOISES CAICEDO. Are we finally going to have a bid accepted? To move on, we discuss all the crazy happenings around Romelu Lukaku, Juventus and Inter Milan. And obviously we have news on Angelo Gabriel and the latest around Franca as well too. So my friends, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I wasn't about over the weekend. I had some other things I had to attend to, but now I'm back now and I'm looking to start making videos again because it's going to be a very big week as pre-season officially, in my opinion, starts to kick off now and we start to finally play some games. Make sure to hit that like button. Let's go over 3k likes. And before we get into anything, today's video is brought to you by OneFootball. OneFootball is the app you need to have every time there's a window open. Of course, right now we're doing everything in our power to try and sign MOISES CAICEDO. And one thing that I like to do personally is follow the players of interest. For example, type in Caicedo, use the star feature right here, and now you're getting all the latest up-to-date reports surrounding Caicedo, literally breaking every single day. I like some of the nice features in which OneFootball displays, like some info around the player and some nice visuals. Of course, if you want to see the latest news around him, of course, you have a dedicated news tab around here. You can get an idea behind his career as well too, to get some brief stats about him too. And obviously you can follow how he's been progressing season by season. So in my opinion, OneFootball has tons of quality of life features. And if you guys want to try it out for yourself, now is the time to do so. You'll find a link below in the description and in the QR code on screen too. So now let's start with the brief story first and let's discuss the latest news around Matheus Franca. Now, reports over the weekend were suggesting that maybe we've lost our interest in the player, and that's because the club weren't too impressed or happy by the fact that, our interest basically kind of leaks. Now, if we consider this, when we secured deals to sign the recent, Angelo Gabriel, and of course Andre Santos as well too, by the time that news came out, we basically kind of finalized those deals already. And obviously, it's about just announcing to the fans about, what we've been doing behind the scenes. Franca's a bit different though, because currently Fluminense won a 25 million valuation. We're willing to pay around 20 million right now. And in my opinion, I kind of feel like Fluminense have been like, you know what, let me broadcast this information. Let's give this information to Brazilian journalists because we don't want to be like forced into selling our player for a price we don't want to. If we can make this news aware, maybe other clubs might start to act and show some interest. And that's exactly what happened over the weekend as Crystal Palace also confirmed some interest in Franca. Now, over last weekend, Franca's agent arrived in London to hold further discussions with us as well as Crystal Palace too. And it seems like these meetings were very positive because the latest reports today state that we are happy now to satisfy the demands that Fluminense want. Now, in my opinion, £21 million, is it that bad to really cancel this deal? No. But at the same time, if you're a club, you're going to be really annoyed by the fact that this news comes out earlier than you hope to release it. As we know, clubs do like to give info to, trusted journalists and media sources, of course, to try and just not control the narrative. That's a bit of a strong thing to say, but more in fact to control the flow of information. I'm sure as fans, we can understand the fact that we're trying to sell players for the valuations that we're placing on them to try and win this battle, right? So of course, we've kind of lost out a little bit, but to be honest with you, listen, I think Franca is a very interesting talent, extremely versatile, physically ready, very skillful, very positive, and I think he shows a high level of football at a young age, and I think this guy could potentially do something in the Premier League if we kept him, or maybe he gets loaned out to Strasbourg, as we know, the club we actually own, and we're investing money into them to improve their standings too. So things are looking very hopeful, and it'll be very interesting to see whether he goes out on loan or remains with us for next season. So my friends, let's now move on to the latest updates surrounding MOISES CAICEDO. Now I need to apologize for taking this long to get Caicedo, right? I've been saying Caicedo for so long. Sometimes my brain works a bit funny, my friends, but regardless, I'm sure all of us have been a bit fed up with this story because it's been never-ending updates that are all basically the same. Now, right now, this transfer is becoming a bit of a meme at this point in time. We're still holding talks, we're still holding talks, we're still holding talks. Now, of course, from a fan perspective, it's a bit annoying, but from a club business perspective, I think this is the right way to move. As we know, Brighton are adamant they are holding out for at least 100 million because they're influenced by the fee that West Ham received from Arsenal for Declan Rice. But there's a reality. We literally play Brighton in a pre-season friendly in a few days time, and ideally, I'd like to think we secure this deal before that game. It's a shame that we couldn't secure the deal like before preseason actually started. It would have been nice for Caicedo to integrate with squads and Pochettino a bit more. But as we already know, we have agreed personal terms for a very long time. Personal terms are always the easiest things to agree upon, and some rumors suggest that this is around 200k a week. Now, I say this because Brighton can't really keep Caicedo because they can't offer him those competitive wages that clubs like us can offer the player. And Caicedo is one of the leading, or like has the potential to be like one of the premium midfield talents in the league for years to come. This guy knows his worth, and for good players, of course, you have to pay their value. Now, we have had a bid of around 60 million plus add-ons rejected by Brighton, but today we are coming in again with another bids of 70 million plus add-ons as well. Now, how close will those add-ons take us to the 100 million valuation? I'm not too sure, because as we know, we've kind of had this unofficial like limit of around 80 million for Caicedo, which is more than fair. And the reason why I feel like there's some hope around us being able to secure him for the value that we want is that there's no competition for him. If there was competition, let's say Liverpool came in with like an 11th hour bids or any other parties, then maybe Brighton have more power to sell him for the value they want. But we know Bayern Munich dropped out the deal because they already got confirmation early that Caicedo has set his heart now on signing for us. And obviously Liverpool have other targets they're looking at like Lavia and others too. So there's only so much that Brighton can ask for over Caicedo. And they don't want to risk that fear now of putting the player off for making him upset, because he was promised when he signed that contract extension, listen, you're signing this extension so we can sell you for big money in the summer. We're definitely going to let you leave because that's the promise behind why you signed this contract extension to begin with. And obviously the whole model is like signing talents like your Caicedos from a very young age, developing them and flipping them on. You know, players know why they sign for Brighton. They're not signing for Brighton because Brighton are trying to challenge for the league or European spots. So they don't want to risk upsetting other players that could have big moves in the future too. For me, I'm feeling optimistic right now due to this unofficial deadline of this friendly game against Brighton coming up very soon. Brighton probably can't get 90 million or 100 million because there's no competition to boost that value up. So I guess for this deal, you have to play the waiting game. And to be honest with you, my friends, listen, this board's one thing they've got right is signing players. They have not really missed at all. If they want a main target, they end up securing them. And we've put in work behind this deal for time. Right now, our co-sporting directors are actively negotiating to wrap things up as soon as possible. And for me, I feel like we could probably sign him for maybe 80 or even 85 mil max, but maybe around that 80 million mark, because there's only so much Brighton can realistically ask for now. And a part of me kind of feels like this was their main strategy to begin with. Let's try and extract as much money as possible from this deal. And let's use the fact that ideally we want to get this deal secured before the friendly game against Brighton. I think the Caicedo story is a reminder why sometimes getting updates behind transfer deals like this, it can be kind of boring, because imagine how many, constant back and forth talks both parties are having over this deal. And a lot of times it's going to be the same thing being discussed all the time, right? So listen, it is what it is, my friends. So let's now move on to discussing all the latest stuff happening around Romelu Lukaku. Obviously, I've got to give my thoughts and opinions behind the story. I was following things over the weekend and yeah, it's taken another twist and it's taken another turn. Now, we all kind of thought that Lukaku now was set to sign for Inter Milan, but it seems like that is completely over right now, as Inter Milan are upset with Lukaku and they've kind of ended their interest in trying to sign him. How the hell have we got here exactly? Well, Juventus, of course, have been, sniffing for Lukaku behind the scenes, and currently they presented a much better offer compared to Inter Milan. They've offered around 37.5 million plus 2.5 million add-ons. This is all euros, and that would mean that the total package would be around 35 million pounds. Obviously, Inter Milan have been negotiating with us for time and time and time. They've been waiting to sell players first, like Andre Onana, who's now set to sign for Man United, and I guess they were waiting for that to start making a move. But they haven't presented the offer that Juve gave us. They've presented like a 30 million euro package in total. And if I'm to be like a little bit bitter, to be fair with you, a part of me is kind of okay that Lukaku might not be going to Inter Milan anymore, because I feel like negotiating with Inter in particular, they've always had the power in negotiations. It gets really annoying. They've been trying to sign Lukaku at like a low ball fee and a low ball price. They got Lukaku to drop his wage demands again. I guess the whole strategy has been reliant on Lukaku's desperation to sign for them so they can have more power in buying Lukaku for the price that they want to buy him for. But they didn't anticipate Juventus. Now currently there's a bit of a merry-go-round that we're waiting for. Paris Saint-Germain are close to signing Dusan Vlahovic, but at the same time, before that can happen, they must sell Hugo Ekitike, of course, first, which isn't going to be too hard. And once that happens, they can sign Vlahovic, which means that Juve can then sign Lukaku from us. And to be honest with you, listen, we all knew from like that January interview that Lukaku didn't want to come back here. He lost love for the club. And to be honest with you, if I can just extract as much money as possible for a player that doesn't want to be here, it doesn't really affect me if he goes to Inter Milan or Juventus. I don't really care about that. Now, there have been some interesting rumors around this deal. For example, there was talks that Rock Nation might be dropping Lukaku because they're annoyed by things, but it doesn't really make sense, to be honest, because of course Rock Nation and the lawyers will be actively working alongside Lukaku when he's negotiating with Juventus or Al Hilal or anyone. It's not like the players are by themselves talking to clubs. It doesn't work like that. So that was a very silly rumor. A part of me kind of feels like maybe these negotiations completely backfired, because see it from Inter Milan's perspective. They felt like, listen, Lukaku has been so adamant that he only wants us, that maybe we can actually sign him for a lower fee now, because he's not going to go to Al Hilal, he's not going to go to Juventus. And obviously when the news comes that Lukaku has held talks with Juventus as well, that now opens up a deal for us now to work with Juventus to sell him for a higher price, which is going to piss off Inter Milan. So it's not a surprise why maybe they've decided to end things right now. It seems like maybe things like money could be the main influence behind this. And that's because reports say that Juventus have offered Lukaku an 11 million euro net deal per season, which is like a lot of money. And if he was to remain at Inter Milan again, he'd be missing out on another million. And you might be thinking to yourself, okay, Lukaku could have gone to Al Hilal and they offered him like 70 million over 3 years. Then you start to think to yourself, listen, I'm missing out on like money in my career right now. Is it worth doing that again? Why not explore what Juventus have to say? But obviously by doing that, that kind of completely kills Inter Milan's negotiation plans. So right now, Lukaku is set to return back to Cobham now for pre-season, but he's not going on the US pre-season tour because we all know he ain't going to be here next season. So for me, yeah, I think I've been very consistent on my channel. I'm not really one of those guys that's ever taking these types of stories personally or to heart. Like, I understand the nature of this game. I understand that people are doing what's best for themselves most of the time. That's clubs and that's players. And over the years, I've had a channel. You've not seen me do hit pieces on players or criticism pieces on players or start having personal attacks on players. I'm not that type of guy. So I'm not going to be saying anything mad about Lukaku because, like I said, the game is a game. I get how things go. And to be honest with you, I don't really care if he goes to Inter, because they're not my club. That's not my problem. If we can get more money from Juventus, hey, that works for me then. So I guess share your thoughts and opinions behind this deal. Is Lukaku an idiot? Is he not? Do you care? Do you not? Let us know below. Right now, let's end things very briefly. The club have confirmed the signing of Angelo Gabriel from Santos. Now, I like this move. Of course, I recommend you guys watch my reaction video where I did a little deep dive behind his game. Left-footed right winger. Very skillful, great close control. He's got lots of great attributes, to be honest with you. And obviously, at his age, at 18, he's already got over 129 club appearances, which is mad experience. He debuted at 15 years and 308 days, which is crazy. The youngest debutant in Brazilian football history. He's had a reputation for a while now. And it does seem like him signing for us now could be the perfect platform to get educated more, have great coaches around him that can elevate his career a bit more. And I'm happy with this. I'm looking at Madueke, I'm looking at him, and it's for years, I've wanted to have left-footed right wingers that have that pace like a winger does, plus the goal-scoring threat and the creativity too. So to sign two guys like this who could be the guys to compete against each other over the foreseeable future, I'm okay with a move like this. And I guess currently we wait to see whether Angelo now remains with us for pre-season or does get a loan move now to Strasbourg. Now, in terms of securing this deal, he cost us around 50 million euros, with around like 85% going to Santos. So that would mean that 70% is kept by Santos and 15% goes to Angelo Gabriel, but he kind of rescinded that 15% as like a showing of gratitude to Santos, and I really like that. I think that says a lot about his character. Obviously, he's appreciative, he knows where he came from, he appreciates how Santos have put him in this opportunity, and he has the foresight to know that he'll be earning a lot more money in the future. So why snake a club that means a lot to him? I think that says quite a lot about how he views himself in his career, which I really like. So currently, his parents are set to stay with him for the next 6 months as he acclimatizes to a new country, new language, new culture. And to do that all at 18 years old, that's going to take a bit of time, right? So I feel like it'll be interesting to see whether he remains with us until maybe January to just acclimatize to life in London and the city a bit more first, before then making a long move to Strasbourg, because, you know, it'll be quite a lot to take in going straight to England and then after like a few weeks or a month going straight to France. I feel like we can ease this kid in a little bit just to help out, and who knows if he leaves in January instead and has a bit of time in the squad. So I like this, and as I say, watch my reaction video to get a better understanding behind our new talent. So my friends, with that, I'm going to wrap things up, keep things moving. Thank you for watching. There's definitely a video coming out later today in the evening time, so stay tuned for that. I'm looking to start doing streams again. I know a lot of you guys have been saying, Nini, bring back the streams, and I feel like it's time to start doing what you guys want now. So thank you for watching. I'm Nini FC, this is BlueLionsTV. I'll catch you guys later with some more videos. Cool.